Hey, good morning. I'm Keith Ittner Sr. Together with Keith Ittner Jr., the money man Kelvin Kaemingk is absentee today, and Jared Hanowski is in instead of Kelvin.
Got the Canuck filling in.
We're happy about that because Jared gives us another interesting perspective that Kelvin doesn't give us.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is either. Say, you know, barbecue is my favorite food.
Is it?
And it's the greatest party food that there is, I think. You have a nice banquet, nice buffet set up, nice buffet of barbecue, and it's so darn affordable. Good comfort food, mac and cheese, smoked meats, great. It's easy to do, too. That's what I like about it, too. It's so darn easy. So just go to rackshackbarbecue.com/catering. Fill out the little form there. Elliot will hook you up. It's party season, so get your party planning done. And one more thing I got to tell you. Go to, again, Rack Shack Barbecue. Click on the store link and get your Thanksgiving turkey ordered. We sell out every year. So there's only so much smoker capacity we have. That's an 18 to 20 pound nice smoked turkey, slow smoked with hickory, maple, and apple woods.
I told my wife to order one.
Oh, God.
You got to get one. Mike Yo from the Wild ordered one last year.
Did he?
Yeah, he did. And then he
got fired.
And then he got fired.
Is he the head coach of the Blues now, or
Assistant coach.
He's an assistant?
Yeah. Coach in waiting. He's with Ken Hitchcock.
Yeah, he's going to be
mentor, I guess, or something.
We spun off on the hockey conversation. Go to RackShackBBQStore.com to order your Thanksgiving turkey. They are absolutely bomb.
Keith Radio, who's on the show this week?
This week we have on with us Jeff Blix. Will be in the next segment. Jeff Blix is with Inspecta Homes, InspectaHomes.com, 651-641-0641. Did I get that right?
Yes, you did.
It's off the top of my head. We know those guys well
you must
over
be
there.
calling them lots.
Yep. The two Jeffs over there. Jeff Carlson, the inspector there, he's one of our favorites. And then, of course, the owner, Jeff Blix. So we'll talk to Jeff Blix in the next segment. And we'll introduce the next guest as we roll on through the show. Jared Hanowski's filling in. We're going to talk a little bit with Jared about what he's been doing over the last week, some things he's been seeing. Senior's got some issues, too, that actually kind of coincide with each other with another mortgage company that's out there. And then maybe I can argue with Senior a little bit about millennial home buyers.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to have to pull up the next generation because I have an interesting thing I saw last. Is it iGen or something?
No.
Isn't it the generation?
Next generation after the
millennials.
millennials.
Or something like
I think
that.
it's like iGen or something. Anyhow, we'll pull that up. We'll get that going because I got a little interesting thing I saw. And had a revelation last night about how my kids will be. I'm not sure what generation they're even in, but how they'll be. So, what about you, Jared? I mentioned to give a little tease about what you're going to talk about, but what do you got for us?
Well, I just wanted to talk this week. I had an interesting situation where we had some buyers. Their financing fell through at a different institution, and I was kind of amazed by looking at the whole application after I'd gone through it. That there really is nothing wrong with their application. So I don't know, if the loan officer maybe didn't do his due diligence or the underwriter, what's going on over there. But anyways, when a pre-approval letter is provided and a seller, they're looking to close on the home October 25th. Now the financing fell through. Came to my office yesterday and I went through all the financials and talked to them, and it looks fine to me, but obviously we're going to need to extend that purchase contract because we can't get a loan done in 5 business days. So, that's a situation where it's just not good for everyone involved. The seller, they're depending on that money to buy another house. There's probably another transaction down the line.
That's exactly what happens.
So it can create a big mess. So you always want to make sure you're talking to your real estate agents who know good loan officers in the field in the Twin Cities, that you're talking to the right people, taking a look at your situation.
Well, as long as we're on the subject, it's the dreaded Wells Fargos who we're talking about. So that file came over from you from Wells Fargo. Wells had denied the file. You look at it, there's nothing wrong with the file. And away you go. The same thing happened. I've been reporting for the last 3 weeks on this file from Wells Fargo.
It's been just a headache. Kind of.
It's just awful. And same thing, whole chain of homes involved. Half a dozen families involved in the series of transactions. This file with Wells is at the beginning, and the file gets moved over to AMEC, and they look at the file, they run it past the underwriter. There's nothing wrong with this file, and so it's approved immediately. Can close on Wednesday. Then on Friday, suddenly the file of the underwriter, third level underwriter from Florida, calls the Wells Fargo loan officer and says, well, I'm reviewing this file because after a file is declined, apparently they just do a once over on it and just before they dump it. And he said, I don't see what's wrong with this file. So he sent it back up to Minnesota. He said, can you pull it back? So, long story short, they pulled the file back. It's all approved, and we're closing on Monday. And it's just like,
but Wells is doing the deal.
But Wells is finally doing the deal.
And is that your buyer? Or is it
that is our listing?
Okay.
But I got very involved with the buyer because the agent involved on that side is a newer agent and was just clueless. Didn't have any idea what to do or how to move this thing forward, and so I just kind of jumped on that side of the table and just to help.
Yeah. Well, it's good that you have the experience to be able to help out in that situation because real estate transactions aren't cookie cutter. And so when you have these things that pop up, to be able to have somebody that's helping you out, that's experienced and understands these situations is worth every penny of a listing side commission to be able to work this transaction through.
Absolutely. And it's gotten so bad with Wells Fargo that we brought a couple properties on the market this week, and in the financial remarks that people look at, we said we will not accept a Wells Fargo pre-approval letter.
It's funny that it's Wells Fargo. I mean, they're a large brick and mortar bank. Everybody knows who Wells Fargo is. And you picked up that loan then from Wells Fargo to take that through. That's recent, right? That's over the last week.
Yeah.
And again, if you don't remember, this is Jared Hanowski from Amec. Amec is our go-to mortgage company when we're working with buyers. They're a correspondent lender, so you guys are funding with your own money, and you have your own underwriters in-house. The difference between those big banks is these big banks are kind of central processing locations now. They send a lot of stuff down to Iowa, I know firsthand from talking with Wells Fargo loan officer, and they're processing things off-site. You said they sent it down to
It was Florida
or something.
Third level underwriter was in Florida.
Third level underwriter in Florida.
Yeah, they're so layered up. I mean, when you get an institution that big, that once it leaves the loan, when we do a loan, I have an assistant, but I mean, she sits outside my door.
Right.
So I'm never that far away. We're in communication constantly. Where there, you hand a file off, well, it goes to central processing. I think you lose some control. As even if you were a really good loan, it's tough to, if it just goes into kind of cyberspace, you lose the control. Communicating with the clients maybe isn't always there as well. So it's kind of the big hierarchy bank that's, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of, obviously, I'm with a correspondent lender, and I like that just because.
But at the same time, I mean, it's not like you can't do a loan through Wells Fargo.
Oh, right. Yeah, you definitely can.
Absolutely can. On the broker, or how does that work?
Correspondent side.
Well, yeah, they buy loans from us that are bundled on the
so
back end. But yeah, so it's we could take that very exact same loan and sell it to them.
The one that they denied.
Right.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. So that's kind of goofy.
It is very goofy. So that's the story on that, and it was interesting. The good news is in both cases that people are able to move forward, and the loans finally got processed, but it creates so much stress in an already stressful situation that it's just awful. And the people that are involved, they're just beside themselves.
Right.
So if you're thinking about getting some financing taken care of or refinance, give a call to Jared and Calvin with Amex. 651-231-2500 is their phone number. 651-231-2500. Real quick, I went to dinner with my family last night, minus my oldest daughter, and we were sitting at the table eating some Mexican food, and we looked over, and there's a table of kids, and they were definitely not millennials. They were younger than millennials. And I don't know what the generation is. Maybe you're up on your internet there. You could search it. But this younger generation, I assume they're children of either older Gen Xers, I suppose, would be. I'm a Gen Xer. I'm in my late 30s. You are as well. But so is Calvin. And Calvin's he's like mid-40s.
Yeah.
So he has some kids that would be in that generation. And every one of them is on their cell phone. Every one of them. And they're there together as friends. And every one of them's on their cell phone. And I was sitting there with my wife, and I say, I think that our kids, my children who are 7, 4, and 2, and your kids are about the same age, we make such an effort to not have the technology at the table.
Right.
I think that our kids in our generation will kind of go the other route. Well, they'll be more interactive with each other and be able to carry on a conversation with their friends.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like how it was when we were younger. We didn't have all the technology.
Right.
At least that's how it is in our house. We make an effort to force not having it around.
No phones, no TV on during
No
dinner.
phones, no TV on. We have that family time, so it's an interesting thing to look at. When we come back after break, we're going to have Jeff Blix on with Inspecta Homes, inspectahomes.com. This is Real Estate Chalk Talk. Give us a call at 612-627-8000, 612-627-8000. We'll be right back.